So first and foremost, my name is Jordan. I'm an organizer here at NationBuilder, and I'm incredibly excited to kind of be with you all today and guide you through today's webinar. I'm joined today with my colleague, Veronica Schiffner, who is the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Ecanvasser. And today we're really going to be focusing on unlocking the power of your community and really engaging and mobilizing individuals through campaigning or whatever organization you might be joining us here today. How today's flow will kind of start is we'll go with a little bit of an overview of NationBuilder, a little bit of an overview of Ecanvasser, and then what we'll do is take a little bit of a demo where you can see how jointly we really work together and cohesively together. We'll then follow it up with a little bit of an overview of one of our customers that's actually succeeded while using the two of us, and then we'll open it up for some questions. If you do have any questions throughout today's webinar, please feel free to put them into the chat or the question and answer box, and we'll try to get to it as soon as we possibly can. But for now, thank you again for joining us, and we can get started. So I'd love to pass it over to Veronica, who's going to talk about some of the problems that we really face in the field.
Thanks, Jordan. Very excited to be here today for this webinar. So while working with customers all over the world, we use Ecanvasser and NationBuilder, and also in a joint approach. There are common challenges that we see that a lot of our customers face. So one of them is that over the past decades, there's a continuous drop-off in political party membership. And not only that, but also a continuous decrease of affiliation with party values. So it makes it even harder going on engaging those members that you have. So if you want to get to the next point, yeah, thanks, Jordan. So as you can see, there's a lack of ability to engage those members. So a lot of customers that we have, they might have a CRM with their members, but they don't really find a way to engage with those and drive those members to impactful action. So that's one of those. Then additionally, we see an increasing fragmentation of voting patterns. So there are now multi-party coalitions are the norm in most of the countries. And it gets even harder now that in order to win a seat, you have to make sure that you actually get your supporters to the ballot. So seats are won and unfortunately also lost by often just a few votes. So every vote counts. That is even truer than ever before. Additionally, it makes it harder to engage with your voters because we do see an increase of voter apathy. The voter turnout on election day is getting lower and lower, and a continuous distrust of politicians whenever we talk with our customers, what they face when they actually talk to voters in the field. So those are common challenges that we all see. And handing over to you, Jordan.
Definitely. Wonderful. Yeah, we're also right now going to put a poll just into the chat because we really want to learn a little bit more about some of the problems that you and the work that you're doing might be facing. So please feel free to answer on that poll. We'd love to kind of learn a little bit more and see if we can help in any specific way after. Wonderful. So as Veronica really highlighted, we do see some different elements that are really problems in the field. But what we want to do is highlight some of the solutions specifically surrounding our two products in NationBuilder and additionally in Ecanvasser. So first and foremost, I'd love to kind of just give a little bit of an overview of NationBuilder. So we are a leadership software. We are built by organizers with the idea of helping individuals organize their local communities. With that, we really help build software that helps create and build movements. We do so with a couple core elements and digital tools that we really love to focus on. The first of which is our dynamic CRM. Within this CRM, you'll have the ability, or what we like to call our people section, to really highlight individual profiles, create ladders of engagement, be able to engage with the audience, create lists with the idea of then moving those individuals to action through engagement with the help of our communication suite. Within our communication suite, we offer a wide variety of different options, from emailing both on a one-to-one basis to an email blast basis, and also really email automation and workflow series as well. The next step I really want to focus on is our CMS component. Within your CMS, you'll have the ability, this is our website capabilities, to either work with some of our stock themes that we offer to move individuals to action, or partner with some of our third-party architects to really go into our theme marketplace and build the website of your choosing. The next component I want to focus on is our fundraising suite. NationBuilder, we have our own payment processor called NationBuilder Payments, but this is really also our donor management capabilities. This is where you can be able to really see how cohesively our CRM, our fundraising suite, and our CMS component really work together to help engage individuals, but also manage and see where they are through their donations. And our last step is our action button. Action button is our really dynamic capabilities, and it's our direct advocacy element. With an action button, you have the ability in a few different nations to really engage, whether it is contact an MP or a congressperson or a legislator in the US, Canada, or the UK, or having the ability to really be able to send out sentiment polls or quizzes to engage your audience and move them to a specific action in the future. The next element I really want to focus on is our different product principles. Now, these product principles have been fundamental at NationBuilder since we really got our start, and they're really corely important to everything that we do. And the first of which is that your data is exactly that. It is your data and your data alone. We want to make sure that you own your data and you are able to use that data how you'd like to and really engage your audience in a variety of different ways. As I said earlier, we are a leadership software built by organizers. We want to make it as easy as possible to move an individual to action, and we do so by putting someone at the center, whether that is really to engage with that audience and move them to go out and vote for you, maybe to go out and donate to you, or to volunteer for the work that you're really doing. And our last section is whether you're joining us here today with an organization, maybe a political campaign, a candidate, or party. We understand the importance of distributing leadership. We want to make it as easy as possible, people in your core group and the work that you're doing to be there and really be able to support and play critical roles. So we make it as easy as possible to distribute that leadership. Now, a little bit more on the background of NationBuilder is our theory of change. Our theory of change has been fundamental since NationBuilder started, and that is that solving today's biggest challenges isn't about one leader, it's about millions. NationBuilder exists to make it possible for anyone to easily mobilize their community and lead those individuals to action. With that, we have our vision and we also have our mission. So we envision a world where everyone has the freedom and the opportunity to create what they are meant to create, and that we help build that infrastructure for a world of creators by helping leaders build and organize their thriving communities. With that, I want to pass it on over to Veronica, who's going to highlight really the core and important elements of Ecanvasser.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. So linked to NationBuilder's vision is our own vision to create a world where organizing communities is simple and anyone can make a positive impact. Ecanvasser was built to create the world's best canvassing software to help you unlock the power of people within your community or organization. So Ecanvasser is a software for organizing effective community outreach and for field canvassing. It is used worldwide by campaigns who want to manage and track their field operations and to be able to use that data later, but also to engage their own members for impactful action in the field. As you can see, it is used worldwide, and our customers are typically parties or organizations who want to be active in the field. Currently, our software is translated to 13 languages. So that's just to show the impact of Ecanvasser worldwide. As you can see here, how Ecanvasser is structured is that we have a mobile solution and a dashboard. So with that, you can distribute turf cards to your own members, and they go out in the field to easily connect with supporters, but also with voters. So a mobile canvassing solution that helps you save hours by that in the field and help you to easily connect with your supporters by phone or in person, actually. It comprises those three key aspects to plan, organize, and engage with your community by using the mobile apps, but also the main dashboard. And therefore, you can really use the power of your own supporters as an asset for your campaign, because they will talk to people in the field, enriching the data, capturing conversations, and you can make sure that by sending individual turf cuts to your own supporters, that it is as easy as possible for them to do meaningful actions within your own campaign. And by syncing all that data back to your dashboard, you are able to track that. You're able to use the data that they collected for your own campaign. Therefore, the two core principles here is that canvassing is one purpose, to canvas for data, because it enriches your database and the knowledge about your community. The more you learn about your community, the better. But also canvassing for relationship building, because knocking at someone's doorstep or calling someone, having that meaningful interaction with someone increases that that relationship building with your own supporters and with your potential voters as well. As you have seen now, there's NationBuilder and Ecanvasser, so as two different tools, but used in a joint approach, there are even more powerful benefits for your campaign. What we have seen with our current customers who use both Ecanvasser and NationBuilder. So that's what we did. We took a look at our current customers and looked at benefits of using both in an integrated approach.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Veronica. With that, we want to highlight some of those specific benefits and really be able to kind of highlight what we're going to go over today in our demo as well. So with first and foremost, we have action pages. These action pages are built on NationBuilder with our CMS capabilities. These are petition forms, maybe a volunteer sign up or attending an event sign up. What this is on a front-facing site where individuals can engage and be able to then move those individuals to action with a variety of our different digital tools.
And then, as you also have the ability to store data within NationBuilder about voter lists, for example, or your own member base, you can sync those lists over to Ecanvasser, and within Ecanvasser use these to canvas those people, individuals, so have those one-on-one outreach actions, being that via phone, door-to-door canvassing, or event canvassing. The canvassers then talk to the people, and by capturing information, enriching the whole data that you have about your supporters and voters.
Wonderful. And with that, as soon as that information is then synced back into NationBuilder, we can engage that audience with our communication tools. So we understand meeting individuals where they are at their doors, but then also being able to continue that contact and continue the work that we're doing in organizing on a digital level as well. So we really want to be able to then engage them through an email blast, maybe a push for GeoTV, whatever that might be, to continuously, be in touch with these different individuals that we've met in the fields.
And the better that targeting is, the more we learn about them, it's possible then to build these relationships. So by having more knowledge then through these email blasts, for example, and what people are really interested in, you can do even better targeting in the field. So you can create individual lists, then segment your lists and talk with those people about the specific issues that you have seen within NationBuilder, what they were interested in, and therefore really use that to continuously build that relationship. This all is meant as a circle. So the more you learn, and even if you make additional contacts in the field, for example, someone that you weren't aware of before, you can capture that contact, add it to your database. It is synced back to NationBuilder, and then the whole process kind of starts again from step one. So that's that total loop of the joint benefits that we saw. We want to go now into our demo, so to show you what we have highlighted here, how it looks like within that integrated NationBuilder Ecanvasser approach. And we use one example just to make that a bit more visual. So we will talk about Beth, who is running for mayor, and show how she would use Ecanvasser and NationBuilder for her campaign.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Veronica. As Veronica has highlighted, what we want to be able to do is really hop into this front-facing site and take a wide variety of different actions. The goal of this is to really be able to highlight how these can then transfer back into our control panel, and then we can engage those audiences in a variety of different ways. So right here, we have Beth Mead. She's running for mayor of Kilkenny. What we want to be able to do is take some different actions here. Again, if you have any questions throughout this process, please feel free to put them into the chat, the question and answer, and we'll make sure to get to it when we finish up. But what we're going to do here is we're actually going to sign up to really be able to work with Beth Mead in her run for Kilkenny mayor. So first and foremost, we're going to sign a campaign petition. So Beth needs 750 signatures from local residents to really qualify. So right here, our name is going to be Lily Harrison. And today what we're going to do is engage with this and be able to take these different actions. So we have that we could be the first sign up. There's 750 signatures needed. So we can say that we are Lily Harrison. Wonderful. Put our email as lilyharrison@gmail.com. And we're going to put in a phone number. Wonderful. Now we have the ability to add an address if we'd like to. We can add our country. So we want to make sure that we're in Ireland for this. And again, what we're going to say is that we also would want to add our signature. So we're going to take this action and add our signature automatically. As you can see, immediately after taking this action, we've now been pushed on over to our volunteer page. So we've taken one action and now being kind of moved on over to take that next action and that next step. So right here, we have the ability to become a volunteer. So what we're going to do is sign up and Lily's going to become a volunteer. What you can also see is if I scroll down below, we kind of have a pop-up below. What this is it allows us to share this out. We understand the importance here of relational organizing. We know it's critical to be able to really engage different individuals and their personal networks as well. So Lily would have this ability to email this link, maybe post it on Twitter, Facebook, or send it via WhatsApp to really be able to bring in individuals from her own personal network. But for right now, we can just say no, thank you. But what we want to do is sign up to become a volunteer. So we see that every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, volunteers meet at John Street Lower, which is where the county council is in Kilkenny, and they go out and they do some door knocking. So what we're going to do is scroll on down. We see that we already have another volunteer who has recently signed up. And what we're going to say is that Lily would love to do some door knocking. And we're going to add that information that we just added. We'll say a good time to call. It's going to be 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll add that address that we have. We're available on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And now what we're going to do is save our volunteer information. Wonderful. Again, we're prompted to be able to share this out. So if Lily would like to be able to share this out, anyone in her local network can then take that action to also sign up to become a volunteer. But what we want to do now is we've seen how we've taken two different actions. We want to see how this renders into an individual profile. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hop out of this and we're going to go into our control panel here at NationBuilder. So as you can see on our side navigator, on our side, we have a variety of different tools that you can select on. First and foremost, we have that people section that we went over earlier, or our CRM. We have our website or our CMS component. We have our communication suite. And lastly, we have that financial suite. What we want to hop in today is that people section, because we know Lily has taken a variety of different actions. So we're going to hop on into that. I'm going to go down where it says hide, and just so we can have a little bit of a fuller screen. And what we're going to do is see that we have about 2,560 individuals currently in our database for Beth Mead for mayor. And what we're going to do is click on Lily specifically so we can go through their individual profile. The first thing we always like to focus on when going through an individual profile is this bottom section where it says activity type. What this is are all actions taken on a front-facing website that have automatically rendered in live time. So it's a great way to really track and manage individuals and the actions that they're taking. So as you can see, we have that Lily signed up for volunteer field work right here. We have that she wants to volunteer a minute ago and that she signed that campaign petition 3 minutes ago. All of those actions have automatically rendered. However, what I also want to be able to highlight here is that actions taken on the control panel side in an individual profile can render as well. And I know that might be a little confusing. So what I'll do is I'll kind of take a step and show you what this might look like. So if we scroll up just a bit, we're in our dashboard. Then our dashboard, as you can see, you can add a note on an individual. You can email them directly. What we can also do is log a contact. So what I'm going to do today is log a contact. We're going to say that our organizing director for Beth Mead for mayor has reached out and Lily has agreed to actually becoming a volunteer and doing some door knocking on Saturday. So we're going to say, spoke with Lily, be volunteering Saturday. We'll put a smiley face because we always love new volunteers. And we're going to say that you can choose different methods. We'll say that this is a phone call. We can mark this as a meaningful interaction. where it says log to path, which I've highlighted. We'll go over that in just a moment. So for right now, we can leave that blank. And then we're going to say that Lily was contacted. So now if we scroll back down to that activity section we first went over, it is automatically rendered as well. And we can see that information. So all actions taken on the control panel side, on the individual side, and then also on the front facing side are rendering automatically. Really great way to track and manage individual data. Now, the next section I want to go over is that path component that we just left. So as you can see, our path is right here. We have different steps that we can take when going on to a path. The idea here is that we want to move and really engage an audience and move them to a specific action. That action is maybe voting for you. Maybe as soon as an absentee ballot is in, we can check them as complete. Maybe it's volunteering for you. And as you can see, we have different steps. And our last of which is that we move to a proposed volunteer date. So right here, we know that we've just spoken with Lily, and Lily is going to be attending their first volunteer shift on Saturday. So we've confirmed that they're suitable for the role, and we can move them to a proposed volunteer date. And if they attend, we can then take that next step as well. It's a really great way to be able to engage an audience, see where an audience is, and really be able to move individuals through actions. Now, our next really important part that we want to talk about are these virtual yellow sticky notes that we have, or what we like to call our tags. Tags can be amended to an action on a front-facing site. So as you can see, we have our volunteer field work tag. We know that that tag, same with the organizing volunteer tags, has been added as soon as someone signed up to become an organizer and knock on doors. We also have our campaign petition tag. We know that has been amended because Lily took that action of being able to sign up for that campaign petition. So if we actually click on our organizing volunteer tags, you can see that we have 311 different individuals that have signed up right here to become an organizing volunteers. So we know that we have a big field work that we can really do to engage that audience. Additionally, if we hop back into Lily's individual profile, you can add an individual to a list. We know how valuable lists are when we're doing field work and we're doing a wide variety of different work within campaigning. So if you want to go over, we can add her to a specific list, or what we can do is view our different lists. For this case, I want to click on our Ireland residents list. This is all individuals that Beth Mead knows that are currently residing in Ireland, that have taken an action, that are living. And what we want to do now is pass it on over to Veronica so Ecanvasser can really show how this list can be engaged and how we can really be in the field and do some engagement work. So I'm going to pass it on over to Veronica, who's going to highlight Ecanvasser's efforts right here.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, so as you have seen, we have the list in NationBuilder, and as NationBuilder and Ecanvasser are synced with each other, this list shows up here in the Ecanvasser database. So from here, we can import that list. I have just imported that a second ago. And all of these contacts then show up in your Ecanvasser database. So they are directly synced over from NationBuilder to Ecanvasser. You can, of course, also import your own CSV lists into Ecanvasser here by using the importer as well. All the contacts that we have imported are now geocoded. So if we take a closer look here at our map, I just need to zoom in a bit more. You can see that the addresses that you have seen on the list in NationBuilder are now geocoded into our house pins. So they show up on the map like this. You see the different color codes here, right? So green means that someone has already interacted with the person. So the colors that you see here in our house pins, they are the interaction statuses. That allows you to have a general overview with how many people you have already interacted, who was interested or not interested. So the red color here indicates that someone wasn't interested in talking to you about the campaign. So you can save your resources and not retarget them next time. Now that we have Lily signed up, we do want to give Lily some context and send them over to her phone. So what we are doing now is we are going to create a walk list for Lily. We call that a turf cut in here. So I'm going to cut a turf and I'm going to send that list directly to Lily's phone. So Lily has signed up, she has the walk list on her phone, and I'm now as a campaign manager creating a list that will be visible then on her phone so that she knows with whom she can interact and capture conversations. So I'm creating that list that way. I'm calling it Lily list, and find her in our users. She's already signed up, and I assign that list directly to her. By doing that, it would automatically show up on her phone. So we do have that real-time synchronization, and all the lists are immediately sent to the phones of our canvases. So that way she knows what to capture. Now that she has a list assigned to her, the next question is, what is she actually capturing in the field? So what do we as a campaign want our organizers to talk about? What kind of data points do we want that they capture? And it's all within here, within your Customize tab. From here, you can basically build your own app. So you see a preview here on the right-hand side. Those are the priority fields or the custom fields that your organizers can capture in the field. It's really simple, just by dragging and dropping it from the left hand to the right hand side. You can also change the order of those custom fields and move them around. So if you, for example, decide to leave that off and maybe focus on the issues, so have them at the first step. So this is how you customize your custom fields, the ones that your organizers talk about in the field, and they will show up here within the app. There's also a second way on what you want your organizers to ask in the field, and those are our surveys. Surveys also, and by the way, also the custom fields integrate with NationBuilder. So everything that is captured as a custom field is synced back to NationBuilder so that you can make use of that information in NationBuilder when you retarget those people. The same goes for our surveys. So custom fields and surveys are the both sections if you send to your organizers what they can talk about or what they can ask. That is just one example survey that we are going to see Lily taking in a second on her phone. You can see, again, all the information synced back to NationBuilder, but also here within Ecanvasser, you can see the answers in real time. So the more your organizers engage with that survey, you can see the analytics and the outcome here in this overview as well. Another way to support and to help your organizers in the field is our talking point section that also sits within the app. So you can send individual talking points to your organizers. You can make that team specific, and I've seen a lot of customers using that firstly to create an interaction script for your organizers so that they can always check what an ideal talking track looks like, but you can also send them information about the campaign background, updates on different policies, for example, everything within the app. So they would see it there and are always up to date when they are in the field. So let's have a look at Lily. She has been assigned a list. She knows what to talk about. She knows the custom fields that she is going to ask, and she is logged in to her phone. So I have a quick screen recording of Lily's phone. So as you can see, this is the list that was assigned to Lily. So she is walking around in the field currently, and she is interacting with one of the houses that was gray. So all she has to do is to click on the gray house, and the interaction screen opens. In that house, Pete Brown is the current occupant, and she starts engaging with Pete Brown. Through that conversation, she feels that Pete Brown is very excited about the campaign, and he is probably very likely to support Beth for mayor. That's why she captures a 5-star rating for him. That information is also synced back to NationBuilder, so you can filter for those 5-star people as supporters in your NationBuilder database then. The next steps are those custom fields. So one thing that Beth is interested in knowing is what kind of issues drive her potential voters. So Pete is very interested in environment, so that's what Lily captures for him. And she talks with him about maybe re-engaging with him, capturing his mobile phone as well, so that she has a way to follow up with him. He seems to be interested in becoming a volunteer even, so she activates that for him. But as of now, maybe not a voter or a donor, more a volunteer. Now we move on to the survey. So you have seen that survey on our dashboard, and it syncs back to NationBuilder as well. And Lily asks now these specific questions: if Pete has already decided to vote for Beth or not, what she knows about Beth, and everything around that, just to be able to have a better understanding of those potential voters. So she captures how likely he is to vote for Beth. He seems to be likely to vote, so she captures that information and continues. As we know, those conversations at the doorstep are never a one-way street. It's always a dialogue, right? So people want to bring something up, and we really see that power of being able to follow up with individuals about what they are interested in. So we have this very easy feature called issue, and whatever Pete is interested in and brings up in the conversation, Lily, our organizer, has an easy way to capturing that. So she captures for him that he might be maybe in the future become a donor, and she wants to send him some info on becoming active and sending him more info. By capturing that, it is tied to Pete's profile within Ecanvasser, and the account manager has done a way of individually following up with Pete on whatever Lily captures here for him. So in this case, sending him more information. We are happy with that and saving that interaction for now. And we'll have a look now what within NationBuilder can be done with that captured information about not only Pete, but all the other potential voters. So I'm handing over to you, Jordan.
Wonderful. So as we can see, we just took a little bit of an overview of how we can really engage our audience and meet them where they are at the door. But as Veronica highlighted so eloquently, is that we really want to be able to continue those conversations with those individuals, whether it's Pete in donating or being able to, really just follow up, gearing up to our GOTV or get out the vote phase of different campaigns. So with that, we want to kind of go over our different communication capabilities with NationBuilder. So we do have a comprehensive communication suite where you'll have the ability to email individuals through a blast. But what I really want to highlight today is this element where it says workflows. We're going to click on workflows. What a workflow really is it allows the ability for email automation. We understand the importance of really being able to engage individuals specifically around a campaign, and we know how important it is to constantly engage them and really move them to a specific action. So what we're going to do here today is we're going to click new automation, and we're going to run a small automation or a workflow series, which is just numerous really actions or numerous emails that are going to be going out to a specific list. So we know that we already have that list of different Irish residents that we want to engage. So what we're going to name this automation is just Kilkenny. We can hit create. As you can see, we can choose our source of who we're targeting here. What we're actually going to do is we're going to click on that list that we saw earlier of those Ireland residents, and we're going to hit continue. Now, when we're here, what we want to do is create our content, make sure that we have that content so we can really engage with these audiences. So we're going to go to add, and as you can see, we have the ability to add a time delay or an action. So what we're going to do is create that first action. We can choose a broadcaster, so you can use, an organizing director, maybe a campaign manager. We can say what this is. So we'll just say that this is Beth Mead for mayor. We can add this as a description. So we can add this as a GOTV. And now what we can do, as you can see, we can clone from previous blasts. So if you've already created a blast and you just want to engage a different list or a new audience or anything, you can easily do that. And that's actually what we're going to do here today. So we have this GOTV. So we're going to click on this and we're going to go to save and continue. So now is where we're actually going to create our content and where it's going to live and what it's going to look like. So we can add this as a GOTV. We have who it's coming from. We have our subject, and now we can hit save settings. We can go to our top corner and save and continue. Now, here are different themes that you have the ability to really be able to choose and engage an audience with. I always love to say NationBuilder uses NationBuilder. I personally send my email blasts using these different themes all the time. We have about 20 different options that you can choose from. We do have some customization capabilities as well. But right here, what I want to click on is that Citizen Blue. And now we're going to go over to our content. So as you can see here, we already have our content that's been produced because we are cloning this blast. On one side is where it's going to be produced and what we've really created. The other side is what it's going to look like when we're actually sending this out to our specific audience, and then what it's going to look like when it's arriving in their individual inboxes. What I also want to focus on here are where I've highlighted first name or friend, where it says precinct name, or where it says address city here. What these are smart fields. So as we gain new information on the individuals within our database, this will personalize this more. So when Lily goes in and we want to plug this in so we can engage Lily maybe, or Peter, what we can see is that this will say, hello, Peter. And it will also say the specific precinct name that Peter lives on, and then what address they have. We do this so we can really look individualized and engage that audience. So Peter, knowing Lily knocked on his door a few weeks ago, can see that immediately and understand that they are re-engaging him, and maybe he will become that donor again. And then our next section is we can go in and we can review our content. So we have our content, this is what it's going to look like. And now what we can do is continuously build on this. So maybe we want to send out 3 different emails to this list. We can easily engage that. We can add new time delays if you want to have them a couple days apart, maybe a week apart. Easily do this to be able to really engage our audience. So it's a quick way to be able to have that information synced on back from Ecanvasser back into NationBuilder, and then we use our engagement or communication suite to then be able to engage that audience. Now I am going to pass it right on back on over to Veronica, who can highlight another step in this process.
Yeah, thank you. So as you have seen, we have now continuously engaged with our voters and sent multiple emails to them and learned more about each and individual one, being that through direct communication with Ecanvasser or the more actions they took within those workflows or automations that Jordan showed. We know more and more, and we know who are the people that potentially are going to vote for us. So let's imagine today it's our election day, actually, and Beth wants to save some resources and really target those people that she believes will vote for her on this day and retarget those people. So what we can do today is to really have a look and use the filter here within Ecanvasser to identify those people that are potentially going to vote for us. So that sits here within your filter section. And what we are going to do, I just need to zoom in one more so that you can see the houses here. So what we are going to look at are those people that are potentially going to vote for us. As you've seen in the app, we captured those star ratings. So we only want to focus today on our 4- and 5-star people to make sure that those who were interested in voting for us actually turn up. So what we are going to do is we are going to apply that filter. So you see it now reduced to these people that left a 4 or a 5-star. And we can now retarget those people specifically, again, by cutting a turf and sending it to our organizers so that they can either call them by phone canvassing or knock again on their doors to make sure that they go to the ballot and vote. So that's part of this whole retargeting. And the more information you have here, the better you can do that and even segment your database more. While you do that, within Ecanvasser, it's not only about learning about your database, it's also about then reaching out to your organizers and seeing how well they are doing or if they need any additional support. So now that Lily has been so active within the campaign, we want to see and we want to take a look at her activities. So what you can do there is our whole members directory. That's for team management. That's for looking at your teams, looking at your individual users. So we are going to have a look here at Lily, who has been very active within the campaign since she signed up on Jordan's volunteer page. And we can see that she managed to talk to a lot of people. Most of them answered the door and track her engagement that way. And basically use that information to thank her for her efforts in that campaign now today that we have the election day. And hopefully Beth is elected for mayor. By concluding that circle, that was of course an example of what customers are doing. And we want to take the time now to look at one of our joint customers, the Women's Equality Party, and what they did by using NationBuilder and Ecanvasser.
Wonderful. So as Veronica just said, we wanted to really highlight the importance of the work that both of our products really do and how it can cohesively create some success. So we want to highlight today the Women's Equality Party. Women's Equality Party really started its partnership with us in 2015 with our campaign goals that aligned with what we kind of needed and what they needed as a software. So that's engaging an audience, that's moving individuals to a specific action, whether that's signing up to volunteer, to be able to donate, whatever that might be. So with that, we've seen real success with the Women's Equality Party. Over 250,000 votes were cast for the Women's Equality Party, making basically 1 in every 20 individuals voted for Sophie Walker, who is the founder and really creator within the Women's Equality Party. With that, we built a really unique approach of voter feedback using different action pages. So we can not just engage an audience once, but continuously understand what they need so that the Women's Equality Party can then continuously campaign on different elements and be able to really engage and understand the important elements that the voters really need.
And supporting that effort in the field, they used Ecanvasser, and they focused on a distributed leadership model, making sure that each candidate had an authority to run their own campaign in a cohesive model. So they basically assigned every candidate with their own account and having it all synced back into one global view. So they were able to manage the whole campaign, and at the same time granting authority for the candidates to run their own account and their own teams in the field. So by that, they made sure that every candidate in the field was able to organize their own get out the vote outreach in the local areas and really building that relationship with their voters on the field. So I had one candidate, for example, and she made it her mission to knock on every single door personally in her local area and to talk to her potential voters on the doorstep and capturing that information. By that, Amy, the campaign manager, she said that having that ability to store that data somewhere so it's not lost, so that every conversation that her candidates and her team members were having was stored somewhere, and she was able then to follow up with that information. It all saved her a lot of time when it all mattered on the election day, to be able to save resources and to target those people that she was sure would vote for her on that day.
Wonderful. So as you can see, we've highlighted and kind of gone over a lot today. We started off with the different problems that are really commonly faced. We then kind of really dissected our individual products and NationBuilder as a software, Ecanvasser, and really the work that they're doing as well, but also showed jointly how cohesively we work together and how successful it can be, as you can see with the Women's Equality Party. We'd love to kind of just open it up right now for some different questions. So please feel free to drop any questions down below. I'm also going to share some of the results of the polls so that we can really see how everyone's problems that they're currently facing are going. But again, we'd love to open it up for some questions. So please feel free to put the questions either in the question and answer box or drop it right down below in our chat. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So as you can see, we have our results. It looks like about 71% of individuals had a lack of ability to engage members. So hopefully today we were able to really show different engagement capabilities from the NationBuilder side with our different digital tools and be able to engage in an element of the communication suite, but also on the Ecanvasser side specifically with being able to really meet voters where they are, going on door knocking and being able to re-engage them in a variety of different ways as well. Wonderful. So it looks like we have our first question. So thank you so much, Peter. So Peter has asked, these are two big packages. What level of staffing do they need and skills to operate successfully? So that's a wonderful question. I don't know, Veronica, if you want to go first on that, I'm happy to take it as well.
Sure. So thanks, Peter, for that question. Having worked with many customers all over the world, what I have seen is that if you have a strategy in mind, the whole setup is pretty straightforward. You have seen the Ecanvasser dashboard. So customizing everything, those are a few steps to take. And then the apps itself for the organizers in the field are made really easy and simple to use, so that all they really have to do is click on the house and are guided through the step. So from what I have seen, it starts where you are at, basically. And we do have wonderful account managers here as well, who work with our customers then on a one-on-one basis, and would guide you through the field and through how to set everything up. So from my experience, it's not rocket science. It's very straightforward once you know what you want to do and what you want to capture. That's actually the most important question that customers mostly ask themselves.
Definitely. I'd love to kind of piggyback on that as well. From the NationBuilder side, but also jointly. I think we've worked really well together. If we've had customers in the past that have really met with Ecanvasser and NationBuilder in joint meetings to really find out the best option moving forward for them. And I also just want to say that support on both levels is always there, whether it is strategy based, but also just being able to utilize it in the best possible way, being able to utilize a specific tag or a ladder of engagement so you can engage that audience, being able to really move people to action, and then when they're out in the field doing action, having the necessary requirements and understanding of what they're using. I think both myself and Veronica have campaigning experience as well, on the electoral and the political side as well. So we understand that it is always different. It's always difficult based on candidates and everything else. But we want to make it as easy as possible, the NationBuilder and Ecanvasser side, to really be there to support you and help you as you kind of move forward with your different steps as well. Wonderful. And so we have another question. So it says the workflows are based on lists. Is there also a possibility to send emails automatically after each successful visit? Wonderful.
I'll take it from here, just from the Ecanvasser side of things. So we do have something called a dynamic list. So each time that you interacted with someone, you can add that to a dynamic list. So a list that basically grows automatically. So if you have, for example, the filter interaction status is answered, so that was a successful visit. If you have that as a filter for your dynamic list, those contacts would be added to a dynamic list within Ecanvasser and then synced over to NationBuilder as well. So within NationBuilder, then John is the expert on how to use that list within NationBuilder.
Definitely. So as soon as it's saved on that specific list and it's transferred back over, you can be able to engage that audience automatically with our communication suite. So as you saw earlier, if you have a specific outreach that's already saved, it's very easy. All you'll have to do is be able to just go through that process, have the content that's already been created, and then hit send. So we try to make it as harmless and as easy as possible. We understand the importance of being able to go door knocking in a specific community and then be able to re-engage them that night. Let them know that, we're not just knocking on your door, but we're also going to be able to try to be in contact with you. And we want to learn from you and see what you really want in whatever race it might be. So we want to make that process as harmless and as easy as possible. So thank you so much. That's a wonderful first two questions. If anyone else has any questions, we'd love to hear them. I think we have got time for maybe one or two more as well. Wonderful. So we have one. Veronica, it looks like it's specifically for you. It says, hi, Veronica. I was just wondering how easy, difficult is it to measure the progress of my team's canvassing efforts overall? And I can view this information in NationBuilder as well as Ecanvasser. Wonderful.
Yeah, perfect. So as Jordan was showing earlier, within NationBuilder, you have that ability to log contacts within your volunteer base and to move them along the path of driving them to action, right? So you would see that in NationBuilder that way. Within Ecanvasser, as I just had the time to briefly show you, but we do have that. If you click into a user's profile, you would see how active they were, what team is actually. So yeah, we actually have a team overview as well, where you would see the ranks of your most active volunteers. So you can reach out to those and to others as well that might need a bit more support. So from what I have seen, customers who use NationBuilder and Ecanvasser do to basically have that progress of the teams in mind, is that they would use Ecanvasser to have that individual look of their organizing activities as one part, as you manage your teams there within Ecanvasser, but then within NationBuilder to drive them to more in general actions as well. So yeah, there's a way of using that information in NationBuilder, as well as that really particular look at their canvassing activities in Ecanvasser.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to really, illustrate how different, but also cohesively we can kind of work together within that. We have the paths component that we highlighted earlier, where you can really see the engagement of different individuals. Also within a dashboard component at NationBuilder, you have the ability to view contacts, so view the amount of individuals that they've contacted, view how successful those have really been with the help of the work that people have done on Ecanvasser. So we really jointly want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to see how your volunteers are doing out in the field and how many people they might be engaging and how successful that might be. So we try to work cohesively on both sides for you to really view all of that as well. And then I did see we had another question from Peter. So Peter says, do you work with Facebook activity and is this useful? So Peter, that's a great question. I think if I'm right, this might be a data question. And I don't know if that is, but in that case, so NationBuilder doesn't have that full capacity within it to be able to take that data is yours and yours alone. But what we do have is petition forms that can be kind of added to a Facebook post if you'd like, where individuals would have that ability to fill that out. But as I said, we don't have the ability to, necessarily grab someone from Facebook and move them on over. We want to make it with, GDPR and other elements where people are, actively, putting in that information if they'd like to and if they would choose to. And I don't know if Veronica, you want to go on this as well?
No, that's fine, because all data that ends up in Ecanvasser is either synced from NationBuilder or as part of your own CSV and imported into NationBuilder into Ecanvasser, sorry, as well as your own organizers are added via email. So that's how data is used within Ecanvasser.
Wonderful. So looks like we've got a couple more minutes. What we'll do is we'll probably just wrap up. But first and foremost, we'd love to say, thank you all for joining us with us here today. We will be sending out some emails in the next coming weeks, which will also include specifically kind of the recording of this, so you can have that information. If you have any other questions, please feel free to let us know. Email us. We'll make sure to be engaged, so you have both myself and also Veronica's email, and we'll be there to kind of help answer any specific questions you might have. But again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to us and engage with us. And I'll pass it over to Veronica to also say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Jordan. And yeah, be sure to follow up with us on those wonderful questions that you had. And yeah, looking forward.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Thursday and beautiful weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.